listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
You're tuned in to Steve Megatron on Altered Geek Unlimited.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unleashed. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me this week is the burping dynamo.
Yes, that's right.
So, what be new?
So much stuff.
Besides the top 100 going away.
No,
Until next year.
Not next year. 2017.
No, it's
anyway.
coming next year. I have foreseen it.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, let's see. I interviewed Joe Kramer, who is the composer and conductor for the Mission Impossible Rogue Nation score. That was interesting and awesome to talk with him. Because I brought up, in preparation for that, because I'd already told, I think I've already told the story. I paid my rent 2 months in advance, so I essentially didn't have to pay rent this month. So with part of that money, I was able to splurge on myself and get the Mission Impossible 5 film collection on iTunes. So I'm going through, and before I did the interview with him, I watched Mission 1, which is the Mission Impossible film franchise with Tom Cruise, will be 20 years old next May. So I watched Mission 1, and I watched Mission 5, which is Rogue Nation. Man, Tom Cruise really, in the character of Ethan Hunt, man, that character has aged so much in 20 years. Like, I know people get older every year. I get that, but I'll have to send you the images, or maybe I'll just throw them in the post myself for Altered Geek. But just looking at Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible 1 and how young he is and how young the character is compared to looking at him and how wary and old he looks in Mission 5 is just crazy to me. But I talked with Joe Kramer. Absolutely loved doing that. That was awesome. Let's see, what else have I been doing? Ryan Drost over at Star Joe's and I did the Thrawn trilogy and Dark Empire for the Pullbag's Dark Side December. Dark Side December for the Pullbag only lasted 2 episodes. I'm essentially done with Star Wars comics for now, because these are old comics. One of them is adapted from the Timothy Zahn prose novel, and the other was the Dark Horse days, except now it just has Marvel's name on it because it's, a Marvel property now.
Marvel Horse.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever. So I am so, and I've said this before, I am so a modern art style person. I'm so not the old art style. And this art isn't as bad as, like, say, something like original US Transformers from Marvel. It's not that bad, but compared to what I've been reading in the current Marvel Star Wars stuff and looking at that art, oh god, that art is so much more interesting for me than the other stuff. So let's see, I've been doing that. Trying to get Tooncast Beyond to come back. So that's coming back. We're going to do 2 celebration episodes. Episode 61 will be 20th anniversary of Toy Story. Episode 63 will be the 20th anniversary of a Goofy movie. Episode 62, if I can get it in time, because I'm supposedly supposed to be getting iTunes credit since they screwed me over on a couple of my purchases. We'll be doing TMNT Season 1 from 2003. So that's going on. M-Wire, I'm hoping to get at least to episode 127 before the end of the year. I probably won't get that, but I gotta get those episodes we recorded almost a year ago out before the end of this year. Let's see, what else? I read DC and IDW's 6-issue, well, not, obviously it's only 1 issue at this point, but it's going to be a 6-issue crossover event, Batman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I read the first issue of that. It's interesting. What I'm happy for is that it's outside of both companies' continuities for their respective franchises, so it has nothing to do with the IDW, TMNT ongoing, and all that. It has nothing to do with the current storyline in Snyder's Batman. It's a standalone, outside the lines, outside the box kind of story. The first issue was pretty good. I really enjoyed it.
I have yet to read it.
It's going to be interesting to see where they tell. I'm not going to spoil it here, but it's going to be interesting to see where they take it. Like I said, it's a 6-issue series, so it's going to take 6 months to do it, unless DC ends up doing it, which I think only Marvel does the same title twice a month, but I don't think DC will do that. I think it'll be monthly for the Turtles Batman book, but it was cool. It wasn't as I didn't expect it to be bad, but everyone should know by now. My opinion of DC Comics is they screw everything up.
Well, that's only since the New 52.
Well, no, that's only since they killed Dick Grayson and brought him back as a Nick Fury of the DC universe.
They didn't
but anyway,
kill him. They folk killed him.
Yeah, whatever.
They pulled Agent Coulson.
Oh God, don't. I'm so not a DC or Marvel guy anymore with all this new crap. I'm just not. So that's pretty much what's been going on with me. What's been going on with you?
Well, winding down on my semester of school. We're finishing off the assignment, which is the presentation stuff. Having had sat through 4 groups today. There's 6 on next Thursday, so it's going to be beautiful.
Great.
Well, and I told you this off air, but yeah, the teacher asked if we wanted to do it. Last week asked if we wanted to do it today, and I said, not really, no. And he's like, you guys suck. So yeah, so we got to watch the groups today, and of course he's taking notes, and then he's like, well, you get participation points if you ask questions, because nobody wanted to ask questions. So if I could think of one, and then he started getting real bored towards the end, because somebody did Inception.
Oh
and
no.
He's because somebody did an episode of Mr. Robot.
Mm-hmm.
Which nobody, everybody was kind of okay with. And it was the first group. Second group did Inception. He went to this point in it, and he's like, that's a terrible film or something, because he doesn't like Christopher Nolan very much. And he doesn't like Clint Eastwood films either. Well, because Clint Eastwood films are all shot in one take.
Somebody do
all the practice shots are the actual shots. There are no second takes.
Did somebody do $1 Million Baby?
No, not that I know of yet. So they did that, and he's sitting there, and he's like, you can't ask anything about the cast or the plot or anything. You had to ask it about an aesthetic. So he's like, because it's Christopher Nolan, and he's like the Adam Sandler of mind screw movies. Because if you think about it, Inception, Gravity, The Prestige, and The Dark Knight Rises, you don't know what the hell happened when you get done watching the end of the movie.
No, Dark Knight Rises, we knew what happened.
I know. Well, you know what happens, but
shit.
It could have been insinuated as a dream sequence too of what Alfred would have been seeing is what they were trying to say. So again, it was. So anyways, he was throwing in there because Talia al Ghul and Alfred and Robin and some of these other, and Scarecrow are all in Inception, and so he's like, where's Bane? Where's Raish? Where's Batman gonna come from? And he just starts throwing this random stuff, and then so yeah, that's why I call Christopher Nolan the Adam Sandler of mind screw movies, because he does the same several people in every one of his films. Michael Caine has been in every one of his films since The Prestige.
Yeah,
and it's literally oh, Alfred's a scientist. Alfred's something else and so on. So I mean, it's gotten really funny watching. So, anyways, he was sitting there doing that during that movie, and then it was really funny watching people pull stuff up through either like Hulu or through YouTube because we had to sit through ads for everything, and then if they
really?
yeah, and then if they brought the DVD in, it was them jumping around trying to figure out where the hell they're at, and it was glorious to watch because we're doing Sherlock Holmes Game of Shadows. Now, before I get to that, there was another group that did Bones. I can't remember what the other group did because I completely erased it from my memory. But the one that did Bones, I wasn't paying much attention. I was doing my own project stuff. But these guys took like just publicity stills from like just random Google search instead of using actual like aesthetic stuff from the clips. And then these guys were like jumping around, had no freaking clue what they were even talking about the entire time or referencing. And then they kept losing their spot. And they were doing the Hulu Plus or the Hulu thing with no plus. And it was where the commercials are waved, but they couldn't figure out where they were supposed to be in the story. So or in their project. So it was just great to watch. I mean, it was horrible that they crashed and burned like that, but it was funny to watch because like there was about 600 uhs and ums more than there was like actual presentation.
Jeez.
And so coming around to that, we're doing Sherlock Holmes Game of Shadows. We're working off of a bootleg copy of the movie. I only say that because like I actually own the Blu-ray in my file cabinet. The only problem is I can't take clips from it to put into the PowerPoint because I don't have a Blu-ray burner.
Oh.
So, and I was like, well, maybe it's a combo, maybe I have the combo pack. No, I bought the Blu-ray because it was cheaper.
Wait a second. Blu-ray was cheaper?
Well,
Seriously?
well, if you bought things when they first came out, you could get the disc for like 15, 16 bucks. And then the combo pack for like 19. But it had to be that first week it came out because if you waited, then it went up. I bought that when it first came out because it was 2011, and I think I had gotten out of work or something and went and did it. Point being, I used the bootleg copy to cut the clips we needed and the visuals because we could work from that on the computer. But I actually own it, so it's not like I'm actually pirating the movie.
Right.
So I uploaded them to my college YouTube account and made them unlisted so that the clips will still show up. So I have those. It's going to be fun doing the project because a lot of the stuff, because we've both decided, me and my partner decided that we're going to not take this very seriously.
Obviously, you think?
So we're going to throw in like there's like really bad gags in the PowerPoint that we're going to like throw in there. Specifically to where like there's a lot of like when Robert Downey Jr. goes to the Sherlock Holmes goes to the like his enlightened drug-induced state, and a lot of the aesthetics that we're trying to tackle are in those clips specifically. So it's kind of funny to watch those get pulled up, and then so we're essentially going to make fun of just about everything in the film. There's a scene where they're running from a cannonball. There's a scene, where Sherlock Holmes is, beating the shit out of a guy, and in one of his fast forward, clips, and then he gets interrupted because the gypsy lady throws knives and gets him like right at the beginning of his whole battle. So it's really funny to watch, but we've watched the film like a half a dozen times to do this. So anyways, it's going to be fun to do that. Side note on that, also from school, we're going to be doing the preview of our short film next week.
Oh, cool.
So I'm looking forward to that. So that'll be fun. I get to watch all 5 movies from my previous semester of class, so that'll be interesting. I'm not exactly sure what's going to come out of this, so I'm a little scared.
Yeah.
Because I know how like our groups stuff appeared, but I'm not sure how. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm going to I'm going to be going to see those, of course, and what else haven't I brought up? Oh yeah, and my dog, we're still training her. It's getting a little bit better. She's getting bigger already, learning. So,
Good.
but yeah, I mean, other than that, just been playing games and doing stuff for the network for next year, mostly prep work.
Yeah.
Got to continue our constant year of fun, as we put it behind the scenes. We've got I've mapped out basically every concept that could come into play. I will. I don't even give a shit right now. I'm gonna just spoil it.
No. Just knock it off. Just
Well,
don't
I
spoil
will
it.
say the
We've got.
GCRN awards. It's going to be a more simplified process this year. I'm going to be reusing the same template per se, but it's going to be more so used with. There's going to be a 3-week process of entering in your combatants, basically, of shows and everything else, and then there'll be a 3-week voting period on all of it, and then there'll be a episode at the end of it instead of having an entire 8 weeks and then have a reveal.
Right.
It's going to be 6 weeks and a reveal, and then we're going to have, and I'm not going to give what the subject matter is, but we're going to reveal the first in a series of an experimental version of is more or less the top 100 but scaled back, so it's going to be a top 50. And how this is going to work is everyone will have the choice to vote just like the GCRN awards. However, this will be a much grander scale because not only will we have the lists, because this is going to run in tandem. I'm going to have a podcasting network side vote, just like what we've been doing for the top 100, and then there's going to be a secondary vote which shows the listener's choice. So there'll be a listener's choice vote, and then there will be a
Staff vote.
Staff vote. So the staff vote will not be the one that we're going by in the actual countdown of the top 50. It will be referenced during the top 50 of where we thought it should be placed, but it will ultimately go towards the listener one. So this will be everybody's chance to kind of check out and get a feel and finally have basically their say in the entire matter. Circling back through the top 100 thing of last week where I more or less said shove it. That isn't exactly what I meant when I said shove it. I wasn't saying to the people, F you, more or less.
I'm sure Epicurious is now saying, take this podcast and shove it.
I'm sorry that it came out that way. It was more so I was feeding on how we were all talking. And I'm not trying to blame anybody. I did say it, and that was what I was saying, but it wasn't intended the way it sounded, as stupid as that is. I was more or less saying shove the opinions that I should conform to everybody else's standard of what to watch.
Right.
Because everybody, like I mentioned in the addendum to the top 100 wrap-up, everybody has different tastes. Everybody grew up with different things. Everybody's going to vote for certain things that they're exposed to. If you're not exposed to something, you're not going to vote for it as strongly. So again, it's still, either way you go about it, it's still a matter of taste, because I can guarantee that everybody's going to vote for different things based on what they know or what they're exposed to, or even if it's something that they haven't watched. If they've been exposed to it to some degree and understand the following behind it, then yeah, they'll probably put it on their list. It may not rank as well as some people hope, but it's still, again, it gets watered down anyway, so it doesn't really matter as long as something shows up. That's really what the point of it, the whole thing was. So, but yeah, I'm sorry that it came out that way. Not going to retract my statement, because that's, anybody that does that's just total bullshit. I take full responsibility for what I said, so I'm not trying to like shirk it and say that, oh, so and so maybe say it, because I did say it. So anyways, again, sorry about that. So moving on, do we want to talk about the big Millennium Falcon in the room?
I guess.
Okay.
Just
Have you seen any of the trailers? Like any of the more recent ones?
yeah.
Do you think that they're kind of more or less jumping the shark with the whole thing, like constantly releasing all this, like, oh, here's an extra 5 seconds, here's an extra 12 seconds, here's a.
Well, it's.
Or do you think it doesn't matter
Okay,
because they still haven't shown
the first two because they still haven't what?
Shown
Because they
Luke.
still haven't shown.
I mean, even Mark Hamill's
I'll
having
get
fun with it. He's like,
I'll get to that in a minute, okay? So here's the thing with these trailers, all right? We got the first teaser, and it was awesome. It was epic. It was great. We got the first actual full-length theatrical trailer, and then we got the first international full-length trailer that had different new footage in it with the TIE fighters and all that stuff. Those are the only three that I really need to see. I don't want to see anything, and don't get me wrong. It's Disney. It's Marvel. It's a marketing machine. I get it. That's what they're supposed to do. I understand that. But I'm sorry. Anyone that sits there and analyzes or sits there and picks out what's going on a 5 or 10-second TV spot. I'm not talking about an actual trailer here. I'm talking about those little mini TV spots that they do. Those 5, 10 seconds. And I'm like, oh my God. I just want to. It's the same thing with the BS that has been BVS for the past 3 years now, almost 3 years now, because that movie's not coming out till next year. But it's one of those things where it's like, I just want to see the damn movie. I don't care. I saw the teaser, I saw the first U.S. trailer, and I saw the international trailer for The Farce Awakens. All I want now is the fucking movie, and I'm sorry, I just can't. It's just one of those things. And as far as Luke goes, no, I do not want to.
they won't spoil it. That's going to be one of those like big purple elephants in the room. Nobody's going to see it until it's too late.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. I just recorded and just had an episode that I mentioned earlier with Ryan Drost over at Star Joe's. Our first episode when we did the Thrawn trilogy. After we did that episode, I was like, oh, well, if you have a couple of minutes, and I hit record again, and I'm like, so what do you think about the entire world wanting Luke in the trailers? And I said, my opinion of it is, I don't want to see Luke in the trailers because everybody bitches and complains that trailers spoil the entire movie or give you the plot of the entire movie. The whole point of whatever the hell Luke's storyline is going to be is for you not to see him until when you least expect it. So not seeing, like, we got Han, we got Chewie, we got bits and pieces of Leia. That's fine for me. I mean, sure, it'd be great if they threw in Lando, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. But, like, I don't care. I'm going to go see the movie anyway. I don't care if Luke's in the trailer or not. I don't want him to be in the trailer because then what's the point of going to see the movie? If you're going to see Luke do anything, like, if they had used his voiceover... Like, if they used his voice acting skills as the overall narrator of all the trailers, that would be awesome. That would be great. Sure, why not? But no, I don't want to see Luke in the damn trailer because the whole point of it is this is past Jedi. This is a new generation. This is trying to reintroduce everyone to the franchise at the same time, telling a new story. And whatever Luke's involvement is, it doesn't need to be spoiled by a damn trailer.
Oh, no, I agree. Totally agree. So. But, like, I think that's the only thing saving the appeal for this movie is because and they've built it up so much. I hope that it delivers on this is, the where's Luke thing, because they've beaten this shovel so hard that if they don't deliver this just right, people are going to be pissed. Although they'll still make their money because people are going to, blow their chunk of change on it. So
Look, they've made what, 65 point something billion dollars in advance ticket sales. People out in Los Angeles started camping out this week to get. I don't know if that's true. I saw that on Facebook. I'm not sure if that's true or not. But I'm saying, like, the movie has already made its more than its money back. You know, any of us regular people, don't get me wrong, I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'm sorry, I am not as nuts as some of these people. Like, I'm not going to sit there and buy a ticket for a movie that isn't out for 2 months or 3 months or 6 months. I'm just not. The whole point of the movie going experience is to actually go to. And I know people want, people want, ease of purchasing more than just going there and standing in line. Don't get me wrong, I get it. It's Star Wars. There's going to be a friggin' line out and around the block longer than Black Friday lines. But it's one of those things where the whole point of having a movie theater experience is, at least in my opinion, and in my opinion is 20 some odd years old at this point. You go to a movie theater, you tell the people what show you want to see, you go get your snacks if you didn't, find some way to conceal and bring in ones that don't cost an arm and a leg. You go in, if you got to do a bathroom run, do a bathroom run. You go in, you sit your ass down, and you wait for the movie to come on. You don't sit there online. Like, going to a movie, like, if Disney and Marvel and whatever, ABC, whatever, if they were doing something where they allowed 50 fans to see the film in a theater private screening with the cast, I could see them trying, like, if they did something Comic-Con, like San Diego Comic-Con level, like the San Diego Comic-Con tickets go on sale and they're sold out in an instant, those pre-sales ticket things. I could see if it was something like that. But if you're just buying a ticket to go to a regular movie theater and you're doing that 2 months in advance, I think you're stupid. I think you're just. It just is so weird to me that people do that. And I'm not singling anyone else. I'm saying people in general are stupid for doing that, because to me it's like, what's the whole point of having an experience of being able to go and get your ticket and it's like, oh, well, they're going to sell out. Yeah, okay, sure, they're gonna sell out, but if they sell out, doesn't that mean that the movie theaters are gonna buy more? I don't know. It's one of those things where it's got me so up in arms. It's like I can't even really think and process of how to simply justify my opinion here. But it's one of those things where it's like, oh my God, just because you like, and I'm one of those people, and you know this. I only go to the movies nowadays for franchises I absolutely love, and obviously Star Wars is one of them. But you know, I'm not the movie theater goer that I used to be in my teens and 20s and stuff like that. I used to hell, I saw. Ugh, I can't even believe I'm admitting this. I saw Birthday Girl with Nicole Kidman in the theater when I was younger, and that movie is just god off, like god off. But you know what I mean? It's like the Fast and the Furious franchise, the Turtles movies, the Transformers movies, regardless of how horrible they are, that kind of thing. I reserve my and Star Wars. Yes, sure, I will more than be happy to go to the theater and see it, but because of where Episode Seven's finances are now, and they've made all this advanced ticket sale money, I'm not going to see this movie on opening day. Are you kidding me? Even the back alley theater that I go to, I know there's going to be 1 million people there that day on the 18th, and I'm just not. I would, because when I go to the movies, folks, I go in the middle of the day on a Monday or a Tuesday, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock showing when everyone else is doing work or whatever, and there's nobody in the theater but me, and I love it that way. Well, usually there's 2 or 3 other people, but it's not packed, is my point. And
Yeah.
Just Star Wars.
So, anyways, jumping from that boat, we have MADtv.
Yep, 20th anniversary.
Which I'm kind of surprised that it's Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not surprised that it's taken this long, but you know, I should say that I'm glad that they're actually doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I enjoyed the show back when it aired originally. So it'll be nice to see this. I'm kind of looking forward to checking that out.
Mm. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be interesting to see who else is coming back besides Keegan Michael Key and a few others. Oh boy.
So yeah, I'm gonna briefly touch on the gaming thing that I've noticed. Paragon
Okay.
is a new game from Epic Games that's announced. It's basically like a League of Legends type of game.
Mm-hmm.
It actually looks pretty damn interesting. I'm a fan of Epic Games though anyway, just like Blizzard. I pretty much follow everything that they do, for the most part. I mean, I followed Epic Games since '99 when they came out with the first Unreal Tournament. So, it's one of those things. I really, I really enjoy the stuff that they come out with. So I'm gonna check it out. I signed up for the beta. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah. Other thing, Battlefield 5 is revealed through IMDb listing, which who knows if that's legit, but for the most part, they probably are.
Until the company announces it,
Well,
I
they've
don't believe
announced that
any.
there's going to be a new Battlefield game coming out next year, but it's called
Yeah.
Armageddon, and my brother's like, I hope to God that this is not a futuristic game because, like, I guess some of the older ones they've kind of flip flop back and forth.
There, I don't. I haven't kept up with Battlefield a lot
I
in
played it.
recent years. I know that originally, when they first started making the Battlefield games, there was Battlefield 1942, there was Battlefield Vietnam, there was Battlefield 2142, which was the first futuristic game I believe they did. I actually still have a copy of it somewhere in my closet for the PC. Call it Battlefield 5 Armageddon. All I can think of is, okay, when's Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck going to show up?
But yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of the series now, but that's only because like I'm playing it with my family.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really enjoy the Battlefield 4 that I've been playing. Although sometimes it pisses me off because I suck at the game. Like it's just not even fair, like how bad I am compared to a bunch of these other people. But it just goes to show you, people that have a lot more time on their hands. I'm not trying to be a dick. Like I'm just saying,
I know.
I'm just not any good because I don't have time to sit there and play like some people. But
yeah.
anyways, yeah. So I'm looking forward to that.
Welcome to the Wicked Radio Network.
Want to interact with the show? You can contact us in the following ways. You can call the voicemail line 502-526-5821. You can email us feedback@geekcastradio.com. You can visit the episode post on geekcastradio.com or alteredgeek.com. You can get a hold of us on Twitter @alteredgeek. Look for us every week on geekcastradio.com, of course, Stitcher Smart Radio, iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, and alteredgeek.com. And now, back to the show.
Some of the techno bullshit. Adobe is doing away with Flash. And they're going to call it Animate.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's kind of asinine. I don't know. I don't even know why Adobe tries anymore because a lot of their stuff is like so freaking huge of software and it's so laden with problems that it's not even worth messing with anymore.
Right.
So like I'm like while I'm redoing my computer while we're recording this to Windows 10, I'm not even going to install anything Adobe because I don't have any reason to. I'm just going to install all modern browsers, and then I'm going to save myself the headache of buggy ass programs. And when I say Adobe programs, I mean like Flash Player and Shockwave, Air, and Reader. I'm not installing any of those. I am putting Adobe Audition and Premiere back on, and Fireworks because I need those from day to day. But yeah, it's anything that strikes your fancy there?
I guess Cortana and Siri are going to have a lesbian pudding fight match digitally. I honestly have no... Okay, so
along
here's
with
the
the Googs.
thing. Yeah. Here's the thing, folks. Microsoft and Apple are supposed to be rival companies, right? I've never understood why Windows 10 or why Windows whatever can be on a Mac. And somebody please tell me, I'm dead serious about this. I don't get this. Why you would want, if you went out and spent, and I'm just saying, if you got the most ultimate Mac ever, which, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 computer, why would you then want Windows on it if you're buying a Mac? Why not just buy a Windows computer?
Well,
so
some people like I have a Google phone, like I have an Android phone, but I have no intention of buying a Windows phone because there's not enough support for the stuff.
Right.
So like I've tried Cortana on some aspects of it on the Android because I think I downloaded the beta copy on there and it was not bad. But it ate my battery.
I'm not saying Cortana is bad at all, and I'm not saying Siri is bad. I'm just saying I'm asking why are they now putting Cortana on iPhones? Like, that to me makes no sense whatsoever. Like, because both digital assistants have different ways of dealing with. I've seen so many comparison videos between Siri and Cortana. One of them does one thing, the other one can't do that. The other one does this thing, and the other one can't do that. And it's like, unless you're going to come up with a third or fourth or fifth or whatever the hell digital assistant that can do everything that both of them can't do individually, then what's the point in putting Cortana on iPhones? Somebody please explain it to me. I don't know. Let's see. All right, so we got to talk. We talked about Star Wars trailers. We got to talk about another trailer that leaked out that you didn't actually have to go see Star Wars: The Force Awakens in order to see this trailer. Paramount and Stephen Amell and a bunch of other people have officially released the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows trailer. Have you seen this yet?
Yes.
It's 1987 all over again, folks. It really is. The only thing, and I need to be very clear when I say this, because I got into an argument with a buddy of mine on Facebook about this. Okay, so here's the thing. Everybody in their right mind, because his name is the name that is most associated, everybody assumes that this is a Michael Bay movie. Yes.
It's a production.
Yes, Platinum Dunes is producing it. Yes, Platinum Dunes is his production company. But his credit on the film is executive producer, whatever. And those, the producer credits, they're not exactly, the producer jobs aren't really defined at all. The director for this one, thank God, is not Jonathan Libsman, or whatever his name was. The actual director for this one is Dave Green. The only other film he's actually done is Earth to Echo from last year. And I have not seen Earth to Echo. I've seen the trailers to it. I thought it was going to be like a modern day version of E.T., just from seeing the trailers, I'm not judging Earth to Echo at all. I'm just saying that's the only other thing that I've seen, like, done him do. I mean, he made a viral short film for New Romance along with Jake Abbott to promote Final Destination 5. Later, he directed another short, Dial M for Murder for Funny or Die. But essentially, Turtles 2 is going to be his full-on debut as a big-time, big-shot director. Out of the trailer, my only complaint is we deserve a better April O'Neil. That's really my only complaint.
At least they got the old one to come play a small part.
Yeah, small cameo with Judith Hogg. Yep. The one thing that sticks out to me in the trailer that was released, and I don't know why, and I'm not even trying to be perverted with this. I'm just wondering why it's there.
The one where she's rapping her.
No, she's essentially stripping in the middle of the street. They take about 2 seconds and hold on her unbuttoning her bra. And I'm like, why is that? Why does that matter? I don't want to see that. I want to see Bebop and Rocksteady in action. I want to see Casey in action. And I mean, Arrow, come on. Stephen Amell is Casey. Stephen Amell as Casey is going to be awesome.
I know.
I cannot wait to see that, because the only Casey we've had in the films up to now in live action was Elias Koteas, and he was awesome back in the day. So it's going to be really cool to see Stephen Amell outside of the Oliver Queen Green Arrow persona and see what he can bring to Casey. I think Bebop and Rocksteady look amazing. I'm not too sure on what Shredder is going to be doing in this film. And someone told me that Krang is confirmed.
Yeah, I'd heard something about that.
All right, because my question was, whose ships are flying around in the beginning of the trailer? And I thought that might.
They're from Dimension X.
That's what I was thinking.
And I like Shredder's new look.
Yeah.
Where he's got like the shink, with his armor, and it's not. It doesn't look lame by any means.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm really geeked for that.
I'm wondering if Tyler Perry, who's playing Baxter Stockman, I'm wondering if Baxter's going to turn into the Fly in this movie or not.
Wouldn't it be great?
Probably not, but I mean, I don't know. But no, I enjoyed the Turtles 2 trailer. I'm really interested in seeing the movie. It comes out June of next year. The funny thing is, this time around, they got, and I'm sure this was Bay that did this, they brought in, the first film's music was done by Brian Tyler, who, anyone's listened to this show before any of my other podcasts or seen me on Twitter or Facebook, I constantly sing the praises of Brian Tyler as one of the best film composers and TV composers of today. This time around, they brought in Transformers composer Steve Jablonsky to do the score. So I'm kind of wondering what that's going to be like this time compared to what Brian did the first film. And I think the other thing is with the trailer, and I'm going to say this now, and I think what happened was they not only saw the fan outrage or whatever you want to call it, or the disappointment in the first film. For me, I like the first film. It's okay. It's not, it's not the best thing in the world, but it's by no means the worst 80s franchise movie we've had. But I think they've learned a lot between the first film and the second film. And the second film looks like it's going to be a bunch of awesome fan service. I know you're not
I hated the first film. I'm not gonna hide that at all. I hated it with a passion. If I could have burned that film to the ground, I would have. And it was more so, and I got over the looks. Like, it was just, the story was just freaking terrible. This film, on the other hand, has me very optimistic because I've seen what they've done with a lot of the characters, and the only thing only thing that's got me a little peeved is the Turtles and Bebop and Rocksteady looked fake.
See, I think Bebop and Rocksteady look awesome and
I
real.
didn't say
Like,
they didn't
yeah,
look awesome, but I think they look fake. They look too CG. All of them do. They just it's something that blatantly like stands out, and it bothers me.
yeah, what I noticed about Bebop and Rocksteady in the trailer is Bebop talks, Rocksteady doesn't, and I'm wondering, does that have something to do with the fact that they got what's his name, Sheamus from WWE as Rocksteady? Because Sheamus is he's Irish. Some people are wondering if they're gonna try to have him do a Russian accent for Rocksteady. I don't know. I still prefer the old Barry Gordon. Not Barry was Bebop. Cam Clark, Rocksteady. I'm gonna make you eat that camera. You know, that kind of New York accent thing. So I don't know what Sheamus is gonna sound like outside of his own voice, outside of what I've known him from doing in WWE. And this is what I was saying earlier. I know you don't really care about it because you don't really you don't pay attention to wrestling at all, which is fine. But when I first heard that they cast him as Rocksteady, I'm like, wait, what, really? And then I see the trailer, and the Rhino looks amazing. I almost don't want the Rhino to talk if it's going to be his regular voice, but I'm still willing to put in the time and wonder what it is going to sound like, and it's not going to deter me from seeing the movie.
Yeah, I can get that. I worry about it. That's all.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking forward to the film though.
Yep.
Should we talk about? Well, I wanted to bring up that Kickstarter that I was backing, that Buy the Rights.
Okay.
They did meet their goal.
Cool.
Which because I've recently gotten back into board gaming, so it has me kind of pumped. It has 17 hours to go at this point, and it's at 16,243.
Awesome.
The pledged goal was 15,000 for everybody to get their thing. If it hits 20,000, which I find it highly unlikely, but if it does hit 20,000, everybody that signed up for the $25 or higher package gets the 80s action expansion pack.
Cool.
So I'm hoping to God it hits it, because I really want it, because otherwise it's going to be separate later on, and unfortunately it's going to
cost more.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I guess I can live with it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
let's see what else. Comixology is doing their they're doing 12 days of free comics for Christmas this year. So
yeah, I did notice that.
So far, it's been 2 days. Well, by the time this airs, by the time this airs, it'll be like 2 or 3 days by now. But so far, they've had Secret Wars #1 and Archie #1 from Marvel from 2015 this year. So let's see what else is going on. I have got so much editing to do. Oh my god. So much. A lot of episodes are going to be late this week, folks. They're going to be out, but they're going to be late. I'm trying to think what else. I find it, I don't know, like, and we've talked about this before. Obviously, any death of a family member is going to affect people. What I find for me, with losing my mom this year, it's affected me to the point where I've become almost indifferent. I don't want to say it's laziness, but I've become to the point where I'm not motivated enough to sit here. Like certain podcasts, I will sit here and throw together, and because how I generally try to do my podcasts when I'm doing them is there's no flubs, there's no connection issues, there's no this, there's no that. And I get it. Everybody, it's Skype. Everybody has connection issues at one point or another. Don't get me wrong. But I try my best not to have any issues where I have to actually go in and edit something. Like, sure, if there's a long silence or whatever, that's easy. But like, where we say something and then we don't necessarily want that in the show. I try not to have that happen. And I've gotten so good at the podcast editing, unless I actually have to listen through the entire show, and most of the time I do anyway, but unless I actually have to, I'll sit there and I'll know where the breaks are and whatever else, and I'll just assemble it and get it online or whatever else. But it's just, I don't know, it's just some days where, and it's more days often than not. That's why I said some of the shows this week are going to be late, because I just don't feel like sitting here and doing it. I'm like, what's my motivation for doing this? Because I'm not sure. I absolutely love the recording process. I love getting it done and all that. But it's like, when you go to sit down and turn it into a final product, it's like, okay, are people really going to pay attention to this? So that's kind of been my life the last 6 months or so since Mom passed. It's like, that's why I haven't written a lot of comic reviews. I've been doing soundtrack reviews from La La Land here and there. I've got 2 more that I actually have to write before Christmas. Arrow season 3 and Time's Up, which was a planetarium thing out there in California. But I don't know. Like, I'm so not the podcast machine I used to be. Recording, sure, I can record hours on end. That's no problem. But when it comes to actually, I need me a podcast monkey. I need me an editing monkey at this point.
No, I'm retired.
Listen, I know. No. That come on now. That was only because I didn't know how in the beginning. That wasn't because I didn't want to. That was only because I didn't know how. But yeah, and like I said, it's one of those things where I'm just like, I don't know. So, what else?
There was I don't know if you noticed, and I think I had it on last week's, but it really wasn't brought up because we just never got time. The Mr. Freeze reveal in Gotham.
Yeah, I saw that.
What? I mean, I know that you're like, it's way too early to talk about this. It's bullshit.
No. I mean, they revealed, because that was their mid-season finale, I believe, because there hasn't been a new episode since. Because I would know, since it's on Hulu, and I pay for ad-free Hulu.
It's on the Hulus.
Yeah, it's no, I think it's cool. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. At least it's not Arnold.
Just freeze.
Yeah. Get to the chopper. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I froze it. No, I think it's cool. I don't know. Gotham. Okay, the superhero shows, and I've said this before. At this point, we have Flash, Arrow, Gotham, and Supergirl. For me, it's Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, and Gotham. I'll watch Flash first, and I'll watch Arrow next. And well, because of where Supergirl airs, sometimes I watch that first anyway. Because, like I said, I basically cut the cord on actual cable television. So with watching on Hulu or watching on CBS's website or wherever I have to watch them from, that's legal to watch them from, usually when I watch Flash, it's 5:00 Wednesday morning. Usually when I watch Arrow, it's 7:00 Wednesday or 7:00 Thursday morning. Same thing with Supergirl. I find interesting because CBS gets their episodes up almost immediately as soon as the West Coast airing is done. I've watched Supergirl at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning on the CBS website. Supergirl is the one show that I will say that needs its time before they start trying to do any crossovers, before they start trying. That universe needs to build. And I know people's argument to me is going to be, oh, well, Flash had crossovers in the first season. Yeah, but Flash was birthed out of Arrow. It started in Arrow before it was its own series. Supergirl, it gave you an origin for her. It started you off on the plot line of what the series is going to be. It didn't have, like, you couldn't have birthed Supergirl out of Arrow. You couldn't have, I don't think you could have even birthed Supergirl out of Flash, because it's those three series are just way too different. And honestly, even though we're probably never going to get an actual teenage or even young adult Batman on Gotham, I almost want to, and I know this will never happen because it's CBS and Fox, I almost want to see Supergirl cross over with Gotham more than I do with Flash and Arrow. I know that'll never happen because it's, like I said, it's Fox and CBS, and it's whatever. So we had the Flash season. We had the Flash mid-season finale, and some people, including Steve apparently, some people are of the opinion that they should have just left it at the end of the crossover and not done the little holiday episode that they had. I liked it. I thought it was interesting because the reason why I think it was a good mid-season finale is because they're building the storyline around Joe and Iris and now Barry. And instead of Barry being Iris's nephew, he's her brother. Because that's normal. And people who are big into the comics, because I don't know I'll freely admit this, I don't know all of Flash's history there with Barry and the Allens and the Wests and all that. But as far as I knew, Wally had always been her nephew or cousin or son. I've never known it to be her brother. I think it was an interesting way to introduce him, and I think having the holiday episode and having him come in at the end was really cool. It's going to be interesting to see what they do the rest of the season, if he suits up in the second season, or if they're going to wait for the third season.
Yeah. I'd be interested to see.
Yeah.
Then, of course, we have Martian Manhunter showing up.
And Supergirl,
yes,
yeah.
Which...
I told you so.
Yeah, I think I figured that out, too. Like,
Well, you're on Facebook saying, no, it's going to be Cyborg Superman. Just look at the Hank Henshaw character bio.
Well, yeah, according to that, it is, but... yeah, the Martian Manhunter was a nice touch.
And somebody else pointed out that if the real Hank Henshaw, because obviously the real one died, but if they're gonna eventually work up to Infinite Earths or whatever, you could always have another one that's also the Cyborg Superman. I'm glad they did it this way. Because I knew immediately, I didn't even think about Cyborg Superman. The first thought I had, as soon as I saw the red eyes, the very first time it happened, I'm like, yep, that's Martian Manhunter. It just had to be. And oh man, when he revealed, that costume was awesome.
I do have to say that they are doing fairly well for what they're trying to do with the show. So, and especially with the designs.
Yep. It's a fun show. I mean, it really is. People are constantly expecting it to, and people say that it's failing and whatever else, and that's fine if you want to have that opinion, but I think it's nice that we can actually do a Krypton-like show, or a Krypton character-like show, without it having to be Superman and having it be, this is the first time, outside of the 1 or 1.5 seasons of Smallville where Laura Vandervoort played Supergirl. This is really the only time since the 1984 film that we've had Supergirl on television. Like I said, outside of that one season or so of Smallville. But, I mean, to have the series revolve around her, this is the first for that. And I'm kind of glad. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like a Superman show and all that, but I don't think they would have done it anyway because of, obviously, the BS. But
The BVS.
you know, the BS that is BVS.
Well, I like how you say that, and then when I listen to Nerdist, they say Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justin.
Oh, no.
That's what they've said since like the beginning, so it's hilarious.
Wait, which Justin, Timberlake or Bieber?
I would go with Timberlake. I could stand him. He's at least funny.
Yeah.
Bieber, somebody need to run over the Batmobile or have Doomsday eat him.
That kid, I can't believe he's 21 years old. Oh, God.
They haven't shipped him to space yet?
I'm surprised they didn't make him deport back to Germany or wherever the hell.
He came from Canada.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
You can take your prize. You can take your prize monkey and take him back. We don't want him.
Everybody always bitches and complains and says that Nickelback is shit and everything else, and Theory of a Dead Man, same thing. Those are two bands that came out of Canada.
You can't do
yet,
Bieber.
Yeah, no. No, absolutely not.
Can you believe it?
Okay, on that note, I think we need to close this out. Holy crap!
Right,
dude.
my battery's almost dead on my laptop. Yeah, so I was thinking next week we'll bring up some things that I've gotten emails for over the past week,
okay,
or so, and then I had this idea that we could bring up some, I don't know, basically do like a mini year in review of what we're going to do on Geekcast Radio, but not in its entirety, like maybe some of our favorite gifts that have, or favorite things that have kind of popped up over the year that we want or can't afford.
So you want us to do a gift guide? Okay.
Well,
let's just call it a gift guide, and we can essentially copy Mike Dodd over on This Week in Geek and do it that way versus a year-end thing, because that needs to be its own thing.
But I was just saying, like, do it briefly though.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
Maybe why do we podcast? What drives us to continue it, and so.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's any other comments or questions, suggestions that you guys have that you'd like to have us touch upon for next week, let us know. If you think I'm a complete raging asshat for my comments last week, send me a mail, feedback@geekcastradio.com. I'll be sure to read it, even if it doesn't, even if it isn't nice.
All I can think of is die.geekcastradio.com, die.
Yeah, that was when the Hulu lovers and haters of...
Which you would think now that I've essentially, dude, don't get me... $12 a month for unlimited no ads on Hulu Plus? I'm sitting here... I'm going through and I'm rewatching almost all of Seinfeld. I've gone through and I've watched several episodes of Alf. I've gone back and watched Clarissa Explains It All. I've gone back and watched Sabrina the Teenage Witch. They have all 3 seasons of the Nick TMNT.
It was pretty humorous though, those emails.
Yeah.
But that aside,
Yep.
we have that, and it's mostly addressing the fact that, and I wasn't trying to last week call anybody out in particular. I was getting flack from a lot of people just for my opinion.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying,
sorry.
and everybody else's opinions aren't wrong either. It's just your personal preference. So
Yeah.
leaving it at that. So what did you guys think about the Ninja Turtles trailer? Was that a lot better than expected from the first film? And just kind of leave those comments there. And if there's anything that you guys kind of like that was touched on this week, or anything you want us to bring up for next week, especially with The Force Awakens coming out same day, or actually probably about the
Dave,
time
your
we're going to be
wife's
recording.
birthday. Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be out on Mary's birthday, so I won't be going to see it, unfortunately. I'll try and hit it up the next week after that. Well, actually, that'll be Christmas, so but I'm gonna see it before New Year's. But
You'll know you'll grab that leg along with a boot.
yeah, I'm gonna grab it first, and then I'm gonna go pay for it. Because there's nothing like seeing it in IMAX or in like the regular theater. I don't know if it's an IMAX or not, but I am looking forward to Star Trek Beyond's trailer to pop up. So,
I'm really surprised that has not leaked.
maybe they're waiting because they don't want they want people to catch it during the Star Wars trailer just to get wider exposure.
Well, that's what was supposed to that's what was supposed to happen with Turtles. Turtles is supposed to be in front of Star Wars as well. So that's why I was really surprised that the Turtles trailer leaked. And then Paramount, just said, "Hey, here you go." And I'm really surprised that the Star Trek one has not done that yet.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I can't wait to see it.
Yep.
So, anything that you'd like to promote for next week or whatnot?
Like I said at the beginning of the show, Tooncast Beyond, trying to bring that back, and have some episodes coming up here. The Pull Bag, we're going to be doing Batman Beyond Mark of the Phantasm next week. This past week we had Star Wars Dark Empire. What else? Yeah, so that's about it.
Awesome. Yep, I'll be doing everything I mentioned at the beginning of the show, along with same time, just kind of keeping busy with the Geekcast Radio stuff. I'll probably be giving an update on my entire computer in the future when that gets all done, because I'm still in process of doing that as I speak. Installing my graphics card so I can get my second monitor back, man, and get my bigger resolutions to this scrunched up crap that I got in front of me. I've almost got it like visually the way I want it. Then I have to load all my software back on, which is
Good lord, dude.
it's a pain in the ass. Although I will say with this solid state drive, all my software is installed a hell of a lot faster and activated a lot faster, and there's a lot less response time in between stuff. So there's that. I got 3 hard drives in the computer. Between all of them, I think I have a terabyte. It's not funny, damn it. My solid state's like 120 gig hard drive, and then my
And I'm sitting here with a 5-year-old machine with a 1 terabyte drive just already installed.
yeah, I bought a 500 gig hard drive like a couple years ago because it was $50, and it was like 2 years ago. And then I just bought this solid state drive that was $40 and it has 120 gigs. And then I had an old 160 gig that's actually my first SATA drive that's in my tower right now that originally had everything on it at one point. So, yep, I'm almost at a terabyte. I got like probably 800 and something gigs. I got a terabyte external on my desk, so I'm good. But yep, that's all. So until next time, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks.